I'm Emmy Lucas for Civic Center TV at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. Summertime brings artists together all over the country. And for the 11th straight year, artists gather here in the heart of West Bloomfield to do just that. Stay tuned as Civic Center TV catches up with just a few of the amazing artists here at the show. The 11th year this event is taking place right here in West Bloomfield, and joining me now is Kevin Carlin. He's one of the artists exhibiting his art here for everybody to come see and purchase. And Kevin, why don't you tell me, there's photography, there's jewelry, there's clothes. What is your specialty? What do you bring here?
I do hand-blown glass.
Okay.
It's all home decor and functional glassware.
Okay. And when you say functional?
Like cups, vases, oil diffusers, decanters.
And how long have you been producing this art?
I've been blowing glass for 12 years now.
Okay. And how does one get into that? What inspired you?
Just kind of creative my whole life, and started in ceramics and studying a vessel. So it just kind of came across my way, and I fell in love with the material. So.
Okay, so if you started in ceramics, how did you end up with blowing the glass?
I ended up just taking a glass blowing class that was actually right next to a ceramic studio, and kind of changed my focus.
Okay, and you've been doing that for 12 years, but obviously you said you kind of had that artist budding inside of you before that. Did you know that you were an artist as soon as, you know?
No, just as a kid I really liked to paint and draw and work with clay, and it's just something I always really had a passion for, so I've just stuck with it and, you know, kind of made a career out of it.
Okay. And then I saw in some of my notes in 2010 you won Best in Show at a Utah art show that you went to?
Yep, I was actually living in Utah for about 8 years. So I was doing shows all over there, just kind of, you know,
okay,
traveling.
And then also, you're from Sylvan Lake?
Yeah, I grew up in Orchard Lake, and I live in Sylvan Lake now.
And you live in Sylvan Lake now, and you lived in Utah.
Yep.
Where else have you displayed your art and practiced it?
I actually lived in Hawaii for 3 years, and that's where I discovered glass blowing. So it was just kind of, you know, young kid on an adventure, and just whatever came my way.
So not only an artist, but a world traveler he is. Now, if you've lived in all these different places, where has been your favorite?
I loved Hawaii, but I do love being in Michigan. Okay. There's something special about this state.
Okay. Now, a lot of these artists I know travel all the summer months to show off their art and sell it.
Yeah.
What's your schedule during the summer?
I do a show about every other weekend. So every 2 weeks I'm in a different town setting up and selling it. If I'm not doing that, I'm in my shop making it. So
that kind of goes hand in hand with your passion for traveling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you don't really set your roots into one spot during the summer.
Right,
you get your little traveling fix.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, where, aside from the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, I'm sure it's one of your top favorite art shows to present at, where else do you like presenting your work most?
You know, I try different shows every summer, just to kind of find the crowd. It's you never know what you're going to get at a show, so it's fun to try new ones and repeat other ones. So, is
there a big selling piece that you have? Does one thing go more than the other? Do you find more demand for one piece?
Yeah, my stemless wine goblets do really well. So that's kind of a big item that I keep having to remake. So.
And then how much before the art show season comes up, how much inventory do you have to make sure you have prepared?
It's constantly making. It's not make a bunch of inventory and shut down. It's just constantly making, because even during the winter I travel down to Florida and Atlanta and the southern states for those art festivals in the wintertime. So it's nonstop. So
it's constant traveling. You're not just showing during the summer months.
Yep.
You're constantly working.
Constantly, yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like to add about presenting here at the Orchard Lake? Is this your first year, second year?
Second year, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, come down. Check it out.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Up next, we have more from the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show here in West Bloomfield. Welcome back to Civic Center TV. We're at the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. I'm Emmy Lucas. Joining me now is one of the art exhibitors, David Frank. David, tell us what you brought to the show today.
I brought photography. I do fine art photography, mostly landscapes, and I've brought a booth's worth.
Okay, and now how many years have you been coming to this particular show?
This is, I believe, my 4th year.
And what brings you to the Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield area?
Well, this is always kind of a homecoming show for me. I was raised in West Bloomfield. My family moved from Detroit to West Bloomfield in 1953. So we're longtime West Bloomfield folks, but about 20 years ago, my family moved to New Jersey, where I am now based. But it's wonderful to come back here. In fact, already this evening, I have an old friend in the booth waiting for me to finish this interview so that I can go and visit her.
So you can visit her, or so you can work. That wasn't who you came with, was it?
No, I came here with my wife.
Oh, okay.
But our time here is a combination of showing art to the many patrons who come to the show, but also my brother and sister come, many cousins come, old friends come, and so it's, like I said, it's really a homecoming show for me.
A little bit of a family reunion. That
Absolutely.
Must be nice. So, of all the art shows that you go to, is this obviously one of your favorites?
It is, and also it's a very good show. Patty runs a very professional show. I love the fact that it's not only juried to get into the show, but once you're here, there are judges who judge the booths, judge the work, and last year I was awarded an award of excellence. So I'm hoping that the same thing happens this year.
Now, what does it mean to an artist to get an award like that? Do you know exactly how many exhibitors are here?
I don't.
Okay. But to win an award of excellence, it must be pretty validating.
It is indeed. It is. And it also comes with a check, which is also nice.
And as far as a juried art show, you're saying it's juried to get in as well. So what's that process like?
Well, I only do juried art shows. It means that you send work into the producer, who then, in this case, hires professionals who review all the work and determine that it meets certain criteria. So for an artist, you know that you're going to be showing with people whose work has passed muster and is of a certain caliber. And also, you know, therefore, that as many, especially in a show that's been going on for years, that the clientele who come to the show have come to expect a certain level of quality. So you're assured that the people who are coming to your booth are people who expect to see high quality work at a good price, but certainly not an inexpensive price.
You're not just giving it away.
No, not at all.
Now, how many shows do you go to each year? How many do you participate in?
15 to 17.
Okay, so the other time, are you out there producing the art, taking the pictures, all your photography?
That's right. I take pictures wherever I go. I always have my camera with me. I like to bring something new to each show. So in my booth, there are certainly things that I showed here last year. People like that. Often, the things you sell in one year are the things that people have seen the year before, because they'll walk around, they see a lot of art, then they go home and it's the piece that resonates, the piece that they can't get out of their mind, that they come back the next year and hope to see and hope to purchase. So, but there's also a lot of new work. So I have about half the work in my booth is work that will be new to anyone who comes this year and saw my work last.
So what is one of the pieces that you brought to this show that's new?
I have a whole line of work. This spring, or I should say when it was supposed to be spring, winter had ended, but spring refused to come because the early spring was so cold. My wife and I went to the Great Marsh off the Delaware Bay. It's a large freshwater marsh, a major stopping off point for migrating birds as they come up the coast heading north. And it was beautiful in a very quiet, austere way. And I was enchanted by it and took a lot of photographs and rendered them in a style that looks very much like etching. And I've got 8 or 10 pieces from that series in the booth this year.
So is that something new that you kind of incorporated into your art from this experience, the etching?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. And how did that work out for you? Well?
Very well,
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I hope it did too, and I hope you do well in the show. Hopefully you'll get another award this year, and thank you so much for joining us. And the chairs, I should thank you for that.
Well, you are welcome.
Supplied the chairs for Civic Center TV.
And I hope that when you're finished doing your work, you stop by my booth.
I definitely will. I'm a huge art fan. Okay.
Good.
Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
Up next, we'll have more from the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. Welcome back to Civic Center TV. I'm Emmy Lucas here at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show. Joining me is Sally Phillips. She's a jewelry artist that's here showing off her work and selling it for all of the guests coming to the show. And Sally, you're from Indiana. What brings you all the way out to West Bloomfield?
Well, this is how I make my living, so I travel all over the United States. I'm based in Indianapolis during the summer, and I do shows in the Midwest here. And then after the season closes here, I go to Florida and do shows down south all winter long.
Okay, so what got you into jewelry making?
Well, I'm a constructor. I love to work with my hands, and I guess it really doesn't matter to me whether it's jewelry or knitting or crocheting or whatever. It's just if I can construct something. And I've been doing this for probably 25 years. My work looks the same now as it did then. It sells real well. I have a nice price point break. And I just enjoy traveling around and doing art shows.
And so why don't you describe some of the art, the jewelry that you make?
Well, it's all heavy gauge, sterling silver and 14 karat gold filled. Most of my work is done out of patterned wire. It'll have a pattern or a floral thing to it. And I use different combinations of sterling silver or 14 karat gold filled wire. And it's a technique called wire wrapping. And on the bracelets, if you think of a bundle of wires straight across, and then you wrap them in certain places, and that's what holds the bracelet together. And then the rings and earrings, it's more of a decorative thing on the wire wrap, but that's what it's called. Although there are other ways of doing wire wrapping. Some people wire wrap gemstones and jewels and whatnot, but I just use the plain metal.
No, I've gotten a chance to go to some art shows and even walk around here, and I've seen jewelry with beads and jewelry with the diamonds and the fancy gold. So what inspired you to start this kind of jewelry?
I don't know. I just like it. It's very simple. It's gold and silver. I think it goes with everything, either casual attire or more formal attire, and it is precious metals. I get confused sometimes when there's color added to things. I can never make up my mind whether I want a purple thing or a green thing or a peach thing or whatever. So this is really simple. It's just gold and silver. And my clients, they come back and buy year after year when I come back at the same shows, and they add to their collection, and they'll have their bracelets going up their arm. But it's a very simple, sort of jewelry for all seasons. universe, if you will, I think.
And now, living in Florida and doing art shows down there, what's your favorite time of year to be showing the art?
Well, that would be January, February, and March, and that would be when the snowbirds from up north come down there, and the ladies are always looking to buy jewelry. And a lot of my customers I'll sell to in Florida, but they're really up here in the Midwest. So they'll say, "Oh my, I had to, come the whole way to Florida to see you when you're in my backyard." So, but January, February, and March are really the better times in Florida for the art shows because so many snowbirds come down.
No, you said you've been doing this for 25 years?
Probably, yeah.
So about 25 years. Did you have another occupation that you kind of did?
Yes, actually, I was an investment banker. I worked for one of the largest banks in Indianapolis at the time, and I sold investment services to large corporations. I loved what I did. But there was always the other side of me that wanted to kind of be free, if you will. And I'm my own boss. Nobody can lay me off or fire me or anything like that. And that I like a lot. And I make my own schedule. I travel when I want to, and I work when I want to, as long as I get the job done, as long as I have enough inventory at a show to sell. So, but investments is my background, really.
So how did you make that transition, aside from just wanting to implement your creative side into your life?
Well, slowly, very slowly, you have to look and learn and find out what works for you. You have to look at a million tents before you decide which one to buy. You need to look at displays and what might work for you. You have to, when you go to a certain area, find out where you might want to stay. Once you get that all laid out, and like I said, I did this over a gradual period of time. I just didn't jump into it. And then, I did it kind of part-time, and then it just grew and grew, and I started doing more shows and more shows. So when you start doing more shows and you're making more money, then you spend more money, so you have to do more shows to make more money. And I think that might be true with all of us artists, I guess. And I do 46 shows a year, so I'm pretty busy, and I travel a lot. I'm probably home 3 days a week.
3 days
3 days a week, and that's what I have to make the jewelry from what I sold from the previous show to the next show, because I'm always 2 days on a normal art show and at least a day and a half travel time, so that leaves about 3 days to do the artwork.
So you do everything traveling by car?
Yes,
I assume?
Van. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then is there any prep that you can kind of get done during the show, or is during the show just relaxing and talking with your customers?
No, I do. I get earrings and rings ready at home. So I bring them to the show, and when I'm not busy or I have the time or I'm in the mood, I'll wrap the wire around them. So I'm always working. If it's a slow show, I'm always doing something, because time is money, and when you don't take advantage of the production time, that's not a good thing. So I'm always working at a show.
Now I see you're wearing some of the jewelry. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, and this would obviously represent your wedding band?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you make that yourself?
Yes.
And what out of all these pieces, aside from probably, I'm assuming, the sentimental value behind this, what piece that you're wearing is your favorite?
You know what? I think this little rope thing here, this is just something new I came up with. I've made bracelets in this style for a long time, but I just started to use this pattern to get it in. It sort of looks like a rope or a something horsey. I don't know what else, equestrian, I guess. And I just enjoy this one. This is probably my favorite piece of jewelry right now. Although I've worn all of this for a long time. I wear the same thing all the time. I never change. I don't know why that is, but.
And you also advertise for yourself.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining
thank you for
us.
having me.
And good luck with all of your future art shows. And it was wonderful having you here at the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Well, that wraps up the 11th annual Orchard Lake Fine Art Show here in West Bloomfield. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our guests for joining us and everybody for watching, as well as Patty Narozny for putting this whole event on for the community. If you weren't able to catch us here at the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show, look for us at future events in the greater West Bloomfield community. For Civic Center TV, I'm Emmy Lucas.